Those of you that have survived thus far have proven your spirits to be of some strength. I have not, however, observed any notation of my words thus far, so it shall be announced. Today's ritual is upon the nature of chaos itself, for we cannot continue any further without this sacred knowledge. To question the nature of the warp is to put into question the nature of the unreal, for the warp is anathema to the material pond we call reality. It is the bane of causality. It is the madness made manifest. Those that dwell within it hold the greatest power in the universe, for they are the eightfold truth. They are the lords of infinite possibility, the gods of chaos. We shall begin in metaphor, for to unravel the realm of the gods too hastily is to invoke ruin. Indulge me this exercise, and your minds will be primed to accept but a sliver of the primordial truth. Envision the form of a warrior, stood firm in the eyes of her foes, her weapon raised, ready to deliver the killing stroke. Now hold that picture within your mind. Study the warrior. Examine the determination written across her face, the strength of her spirit, the fire of hatred in her eyes, as she brings the blade down upon her hated foes. These aspects can hardly be described as physical, and yet they exist. Emotions, chemical transmissions of biological origin, yes. We understand them to be far more. You may consider the warp to be an ocean, a vast, impossible emptiness. It surrounds our plane of existence, which in this case you may imagine as an isolated pool. It sits within the ocean, but is, by means inexplicable in the language of mortals, separated, a barrier secluding the ocean from the pool. Despite this, certain aspects may pass through the barrier. Emotions are prime example. They're non-physical attributes able to seep through into the ocean of unreality. But emotions are not all that may pass. Keep this ocean present in your thoughts as we focus again upon our warrior. She springs to action, cleaving through her enemies. Skulls fracture, limbs strewn across the battlefield where they have been removed in hand-to-hand combat. As the calamity of such a scene plays through your mind, answer me this simple question, Acolyte. Do you think so little of human lives that their sacrifice is for naught? Of course not. Lives are sacred, are they not? More importantly, actions, sacrifice and treachery in particular have significance. Things of significance may also transcend the invisible barrier of our world and into the warp. Therefore, we must conclude that our warrior, knowingly or not, she is fueling the warp. But of course, a battle is far more than a single soul. As 1,000 warriors commit themselves to the art of war, the warp is feasting. Once again, for one final moment, we must return to our warrior. But this time, we must envision the entirety of the conflict. As the battle commences around her, plots of betrayal unravel, and so the god of change will feed. The resolve of many a warrior is tested as they lay wounded, surrounded by the corpses of their comrades. They despair at their untimely demise, and thus they feed he of despair and decay. Superlative bladesmen, armed with the arrogance of 100 men, have honed their skills sharper than any knife edge. Such is their skill that they may cut down any opposition, gloating and tallying their kills. And so she who thirsts, the god of excess, may drink. Finally, every cut, every block, every parry, and every drop of blood or ruthless dismemberment feeds the blood god. But where, you may wonder, where do these gods come from? How are they formed? And why are they so eager and interested in the act of mortal men? It is for this purpose I have constructed this fictional battlefield within your mind. For, as these actions, thoughts, emotions seep into the immaterium, the most similar, the most like-minded are drawn together, where they will coalesce and form a sphere of these aspects. They will actively repel those not akin to their collective mass. And so these spheres have been swelling with power for millennia, possibly since the beginning of time. Eventually, they gained their own sentience. And what does a being do once it gains some level of sentience? It manifests more intelligent means of its continued survival. For most species, this takes the form of technological advancement, but for the gods of the warp, they care not for such pursuits. Their means are far more befitting their nature. As these gods look down from their own transcendent realm and drink greedily from the carnage below, they look to those warriors whom best embody their appetites. The god of war looks to our warrior who stood firm in the eyes of her foes and cut them to the ground. She has shed so much blood today, and he has fed so much from her. He grants her his blessing, and her muscles rapidly begin to swell. The strength she had extinguished from hours of brutal melee are restored. She raises her weapon higher and continues her warpath, all the more unstoppable. And so each god looks to their champions and grants them boons of power tailored to their appetites. In truth, it can be seen as an investment. For those proven to produce sustenance for the gods, they are even more potent than before. For the gods, this means their next battle harvest shall be even grander. Make no mistake, in my story of the warrior, the gods gain power in many ways. Battle, the most captivating. However, in truth, the gods gain power from every sin and passion of every mortal in the galaxy. When we return to the rituals of the gods, I shall divulge to you the nature of the Four, the pantheon of Four, and you will know the name